After that introduction, I should shut up and leave. I can only take it downhill from there.
Second the motion.
Always got the best word, Mr. Nally. That's right. That's right. First, let me say, Greg Bowen made so much sense. What he said regarding the business of government in today's time is the message. And thank you for doing that. When you're honored by being elected, it's going to be a tough ride because you're going to be a minority. Good people trying to do good things, but you'll be a voice in the wilderness. Folks, thank you for allowing me to come. When Gail first invited me months ago, I asked her to defer me to last because I'm the least known of the candidates.
And I made sure you were last.
She honored me. I was the least known of the candidates. I've never been a public person. I've never run for office before. This is a give back thing for me. Based on my experience and my love for the county, I just honestly can't think of anything better to do with my life than what I'm doing now. We're in tough times. We've got a wonderful place. We've got a very struggling place, but we've got a huge promise that this can be so special in a whole different way. But let me first connect with you guys. I can't talk, as Jennifer did, about what she's done on a national level, but if you were at the steps of the Capitol 4 years ago, my two sons and I were there with you at the start of the Tea Party. That seminal gathering, I've said for years, well, talking to my children, years, perhaps gave us the opportunity to keep our country from being pushed over the cliff. The verdict's not in yet. Prior to that, and indeed that day, I was telling them the rules of the game have changed, guys. It won't be so bad being France, but that's where we're headed. In the overall course of history, it's not too bad being like France. But folks, we got the best system and the best country in the history of mankind that's under attack and has been in all of our lifetimes. The Tea Party's formation has created an opportunity to stop that slide. Whether it will or not, we don't know. It's sort of like my race, 50-50. I still think it's 50-50 for me. I was there. That's not new. That mock-up there is two and a half months old. I don't know. Gail was instrumental in making sure that I focused on this issue early on. The Honeke's identified for me, but I was so busy focusing on not being a single issue candidate and addressing our large issues in our county that I had not made up my mind totally when it first came out, but it took me 3 days once I peeled the onion apart. And I've been attacked in recent weeks that I don't really know the details of T-Splosh. If you hear somebody say that, put them in front of me, okay? I'll say nothing more about T-Splosh, but I'll be glad to debate anybody in any time, in any setting, to any level of details, on any part, philosophically, technically, or pork barrel-wise in the T-Splosh. It was a clear answer once I spent more than an hour and a half looking at it. Praise the Lord, my fellow candidates, 2 of them have moved to that position. A 3rd one may or may not have moved that position, and a 4th one will never. The 3rd and 4th will never. Let's put it that way. The 3rd and 4th never will. Lastly, in terms of connecting, what Gail said is true. This is a give-back thing for me. I'm not in this for a job. Term limits is something I used to condense that message early on. In the second debate, I think I was given the honor of asking a question of all the other candidates, and one by one, when I said I pledged the term limits, 8 years. If I can't get done with my wonderful county what I want to get done, it will not happen. So why bother going on for a second career? I will not serve if honored being elected more than one re-election. One by one, no, and one was honest. He said, well, I'm going to be retiring in 4 years anyway. I'll agree to it. Those issues defined for me at that point the philosophical differences between the opponents and what I am representing in terms of the principles. But if I may, I think looking around the crowd, y'all all put up with most of my speeches and my rhetoric, but I still must do it. My campaign committee tells me I've got to make a connection. I've got to tell you a little bit about me as a person, because as one of my worthy fellow candidate said, it's about popularity. I was raised in Cassville. I started out as a sharecropper's son on the hillside up in Cassville. I worked in a mob factory when I was 14. I washed dishes when I was 15. I sold shoes at McKinney's shoe store on the square when I was 16. I saved enough money then to pay for my first semester now of college education way down the road in Atlanta. I earned a degree in engineering from Georgia Tech. Paid my way through as a co-op working for Georgia Department of Transportation. The Highway Department is what it's called. Building I-75 through Cobb County. Later, I met the light of my life. Jan is my wife now. I won't say how long. I'll say that later. Got a master's in finance, and that changed my career trajectory, which I'll talk about just a little bit in a minute. And we started raising family. We're now the proud parents. Well, I will say, I've been married for 41 years. I've been a father for 38 years, and I've been Poppy for 10 years. So I've gone through those stages of life. I've lost my parents in the last 4 or 5 years, both sets of our parents. I've been through all those cycles of life. If I have anything for me, it's the wisdom of years. It's nothing that God gave me, it's the experiences. And those life cycles brings me to where I am. Why am I running? The reason that we decided jointly a year ago was if I could find anybody in Northwest Georgia that has my experience in terms of jobs attraction, I will not run. Today, if any of you have the experience that I've been blessed to have in terms of moving manufacturing plants and distribution facilities across this country, I've been in every state in the country. I've been in every major city, the top 50 cities, except for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I don't know why I've never been in Three Rivers, but I've seen this country inside out. I've been very blessed in that. And that set of experiences, I said, we're struggling. We've got too many people in our county that are hurting without jobs. And what can I best do with my life is to put my suit back on, change the nature of the county commissioner's job, which is the commissioner, for those of you who are new here. This is the largest county in the United States with a sole commissioner form of government. It is an enormous responsibility for 100,000 folks. I can't think of anything better than to put my suit back on and go to the Midwest, frankly, which is where they're looking to move south, and steal jobs from my experience base here for our people. And that's my purpose. So jobs. All my other candidates, thankfully, are saying it. I'm so thankful they're saying it. And they've all put it in the material. I'm glad they're saying it's jobs, jobs, jobs. I've done it, and I want to do it for Bartow County. Secondly, what we've heard repeatedly is real. It's time for government to do this. It's time for taxes to do this. That's not a cold, hard thing to say. I spent 2 hours in one of the government buildings today, in the last one that I haven't been in. Y'all won't believe the love that I got from our good employees, bureaucrats, who are looking for leadership. They may have been lying through their teeth. I don't think so. They're saying, we want to move forward. We want to take this county to the next level. The business of government and fiscal constraint is now. It's time to not be allegiant to the workforce. It's time to be allegiant to the taxpayers. It's tough times, and I've said that since day one. My good old boy friends early on told me that I'm making mistakes by saying that. Mike, be a nice fella. Don't say that. Just get your name out. I'm glad I didn't listen to them, because our candidacy is now credible, and we've stuck to the message, and they're all saying it too. Every one of them are now saying it. 2 of them weren't saying it until 2 weeks ago. But they're now saying it. 2 of them were endorsed as they should be running in the Democratic Party by the online magazine that's put itself in place in Northwest Georgia to represent the Democratic Party. It'll be up to you to decide who they are. I'm not going to fling mud, but we will talk philosophy. I'm honored by being in the runoff. We're going to talk philosophy if I'm giving you an opportunity. That's the second reason, is budget control. The third, and this may be the real and final reason instant that I'm here, I've seen counties up close and personal. Gwinnett County and Clayton County are the two best examples, have been ruined by allowing folks who are beholden to certain interests that are in control of the infrastructure in those counties. Folks, if we don't stop the clock and as a transparent community make the decisions on what we want it to look like in 40 years, we're going to look like Clayton County in 40 years. Sorry, but that's fact. Gwinnett County on a small scale. We've got a lot of planning to do. Water, sewer, road, land use plan, zoning, transparent without conflict of interest. That issue, I think, will be a very tough set of discussions it's going to have to play. Mr. Holt schooled us on where to go to find where conflict of interest read. I'm sad to hear that there are some on the other side. It will pale, I think, with what could happen on my side. Lastly, why am I running? Everything in our society is under attack, it seems, toward the family. As I said, my numbers, 41, 38, and 10. I commit to you, there's one promise I'm making. I'll be a role model, or I'll be gone the next day when I'm not. My choice, not yours. In terms of supporting family structure and ensuring that things that were sacred that make this county and this country great are given attention to. Those four reasons. I am, as you've heard before, a Christian and a conservative and a Republican in that order. And that order is where we defined a year ago. Everything builds from that. Just like a vision and a mission statement, everything flows from that. I will not rule if I'm honored by being commissioner. Rule is a strong word, but so commissioner, guys, be careful. From the Old Testament and the Bible, but every decision and every notion in my body will be shaped by my faith. And you need to understand that. If you don't like that, vote against me. But that's where it all springs from. And the conservative, I was reading the Federalist Papers when most of you weren't born. Barry Goldwater's book, Conscience of a Conservative, was one of the first non-physics or calculus books that I read when I got out of school. I worked on the street level in Newt Gingrich's second campaign back there in the late 70s. I don't remember when I wasn't with an R. My dad was a Democrat until he turned and voted for my friend, who I had the pleasure of sitting on a plane with one day, Ronald Reagan. And he became Republican. But I've been Republican for what that's worth for a long time. But that's third. My faith comes first. Lastly, real quickly, hopefully quickly, my experience is why I'm doing this. And you need to know a little bit about it. I've got 4 years of economic development, pure economic development experience that I could talk in detail with you later. I've got 12 years of financial management on corporate level, entrepreneurial startups, deeply steeped. I'm eager to roll my sleeves up and be your county administrator until we learn how the thing works. I'm not going to turn that responsibility over to somebody that I'm eager to hire, or like one of my candidates says, he's going to insist that when he wins on August 21st, and as of yesterday at Toss Diner, he's saying he's going to win next Tuesday. He's putting word out that he's going to win without a runoff. I hope he keeps saying it. He says he's going to insist that the administrator is hired 3 weeks from now, so that there'll be a wheel trained so he won't make any mistakes when he comes into office. I'm going to be your county administrator. I'll become full-time in September or October, and I will be full-time until I figure out where the warts are. Then we'll decide how to structure the organization. My financial management is what gives me background there. 10 years of engineering project management, won't bore you there. And then most importantly, though, leadership matters. 14 years of complex, large organizational leadership, 14 years of executive leadership. I'm offering that body of experience that my last mayor said money can't buy. It starts from integrity. I am independent. I will not be beholden. That's why this is going to be a serious race. The establishment has put the word in the street that they're, quote, can't trust Mike Bearden. I love that. That has given me energy. Every time when I get down, I remember what I was told by one of those handful of folks months and months ago, and find that it's there. That's the boilerplate of what I'm talking about. If you will honor me with your vote, we'll go together and we'll take Bartow County to the next level. We've got a promising future. I need your help. If we have a low turnout, this will be the last time you'll see me in a public setting, because I will not be elected. A low turnout, it will be continuation. If word doesn't get out in the next 4 days, and we don't have a strong turnout of we the people, it's been a great experience for me, and it's been fun, but it will be for naught in terms of change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I have a question. I gather you're not opposed to sharing the responsibilities someday, and that with more than one commissioner.
If there was a multi-commission board today, I wouldn't be running. I've done committees. I'll list the long arm of things that I've been chairman of. I wouldn't be running with the problems now to try to debate with folks that I feel like don't have the right interest. However, when it comes up the next time, it will pass, and you'll find me as one trying to ensure that it comes in. We cannot afford to risk our very complex county to the vagaries of somebody who might be able to win as a populist, and there might be some running this time. But these are all good people that are running out. Don't take that. I shouldn't have said that. These are all good people. But in the future, if the wrong person gets in our job, they could ruin our county in months. That risk alone drives us that we must have eventually, and I think it'll be sooner rather than later, a multi-member commission. I'm the only one that even breathes close to that. Does that answer the question?
Mr. Bearden, you're probably aware that our law enforcement and our fire department, I believe as well, has not had a raise in quite some time. Do you have a plan to be able to implement some changes?
Specific plan, no, but I've said for months that we will find some way to end the furloughs.
Yeah.
There is, it's a travesty. What a wrong way to give signals to good people. There's 700 employees there. And of those 700, don't tie me in numbers like somebody'd like to, but there's a huge number, maybe 650 of them, maybe 600, maybe 690. I don't know. They're great people that just need leadership. They shouldn't be punished by being on furlough for 4 years now. We will find some way by doing this to government to eliminate the furloughs and get us back on a business-like footing. I don't have specific answers. Like I just told some of my friends in the courthouse a while ago, I'm not going to pander and tell you I know an answer until I get in the job and wear the shoes. I've been around. I know that quite often things aren't what you seem. So I'm not going to give chapter and verse on what I would do, but my energy will be focused on that. And the business objective is through the zero-based budgeting and full performance review and full reevaluation of how the leadership needs to look, we're going to find ways to eliminate the furlough and put us back on a normal footing. Not weeks, certainly at least months, and perhaps a year. It's going to be complex. Did that respond?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you again.
Thank you.